Hello, folks. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, back with the Christian Whistleblower broadcast. And here we go. As you see, this is part of our wild card additions to our weekly schedule. Jeff, what are you talking about? Well, here's the Christian Whistleblower website. Of course, this is my website. And you can see here all of our lineup for the teachings that we're doing. Get deep, unindoctrinate yourself. Free weekly teachings. Click to access unindoctrination. Monday, Apostle Paul Antichrist. Did the self-proclaimed apostle hack the Yeshua movement? Tuesday, Diamond New Testament commentary, word for word, or word by word through the first and only chronological New Testament. Wednesday, Book of Revelation, apostasy and UFO agenda uncovered. Thursday, Yeshua Unscripted, the original teachings. Friday, Nag Hammadi Scriptures. I just finished putting up a new episode of this from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Saturday, Secret Teachings, the Manly P. Hall Classic. Sunday, doubleheader, ISIS Unveiled from H.P. Blavatsky. And these are my studies of these books. And NCK Live, our weekly fellowship. Plus, ding, 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 wildcard broadcasts on various days and times, 11th Hour Messenger Live, and here, Christian Whistleblower. So this is a wild card broadcast. It's at various dates, various time, and we're also working on bringing you very soon Paranormal Trip. Right now, you can order any of our ebooks. They're on sale for $2.50. The UFO, Christmas Story, Curious Christmas Conundrums, The Mandela Effect, Confessions of an Exorcist, Final Message, The Last Apostle, Apostle Paul Antichrist, Diamond New Testament. Those have all been featured on Coast to Coast AM. Serpents and Doves in the Garden of the Gods, Spiritual Wisdom of Napoleon Hill, Rocket Man, Crazy Life and Work of L. Ron Hubbard. This one we're going to talk about today. This is the brand new book, Eat the Pain, Spirit Cooking, the Eucharist, and Communion. That is the only one. That's $5 because it is brand new. So go to the website. Find the teachings that you want. And remember to check out the Unindoctrinate Daily, which is news that matters. All kinds of great stories in here. Very, very interesting stuff. And you'll want to go ahead and check that out as well. You can see where I'm going to be. You can check out our secret club from newcosmicknowledge.com. Coffee and enlightenment. So go ahead and take a look at these things. And enjoy yourself. But let's go ahead and get into the study today. Again, it's unlike me to be on current events and things that are in the news, but yet this thing with the spirit cooking caught my eye, and it caught my eye because it is a spiritual thing. And I was again, drug kicking and screaming into it, and we're going to talk about it, not really because I want to, but because it is such a important thing, and it ties back to things that you won't even begin to imagine, and you have to excuse the train going by and making things vibrate a bit, but this is the actual ebook that we're looking at. Well, this is kind of the rough draft of it. I've had to, those of you that have ordered the book already, I'm going to be sending you a update. I have a second version already done because last night I had a dream, and I had was given some information, not like in a dream, like I don't channel or things like that, but I was given some inspiration to put some more information into the book. And I think a lot of times the dream life really is just your conscious mind has gotten out of the way and your subconscious can work. We'll be doing this show today in 4 segments. It'll be about an hour long. So this is segment number 1. And this is the book, With a Sharp Knife Cut Deeply, Eat the Pain, by the Christian Whistleblower. And obviously you can see that with the sharp knife cut deeply, that's the spirit cooking mantra. In the background, you see the Eucharist / communion. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Eat the pain, spirit cooking, communion, and the Eucharist. From Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. And you can go to my website. You can go to my YouTube page. Of course, if you're watching this, you are at the YouTube page. And as we, I don't want to just blow by that because I want you to like the page. I want you to subscribe to the page. I want you to like the videos. I want you to share the videos for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want you to be able to get this information as we release it and be the first to get it, and I don't want you to miss out on anything. Number two, the more subscriptions, the more likes, the more shares, it drives my videos up the search engine so people can organically find them and can get this information. So help a brother out. Do press that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the videos. And as we go through this, we're going to talk about some very basic things, and we're going to get into this spirit cooking. Again, those who remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And of course, that quote is often bungled. Those who won't remember history are condemned to repeat it. But it was George Santayana, a philosopher, an essayist, a poet, and a novelist that said it. And it's so very much true. And of course, spirit cooking originally blazed into our consciousness, on the internet, in the newspapers, across the television, as the 2016 presidential election was coming to a close, and it continues to be a very hot topic, a very dominant, talk here, as it seems like the age of the Clintons is going away, and we're looking at the rise of the Donald. But that's not really the story. The story is that this is a spiritual enterprise that's going on, and one that is a dark spiritual enterprise. And we're going to be very, very shocked. We're going to be very, very surprised as to what's happening. And in reference to Mr. Santayana's commentary, we could know what's going on. We should know what's going on. We just don't want to know. We've chosen not to know. We've chosen to hide our heads, bury our heads in the sand. We've chosen to ignore the past, and ignoring it, we don't remember it. And by doing this, we condemn ourselves to a cycle of repetition. We're slaves, and that really to more than one master, really a cabal of masters, all seeking to serve the same end. But it seems as though the universe, the supreme being, the divine, is trying to slap us awake to get us to wake up and smell what the spirits got cooking. And that slap is spirit cooking. And just by way of definition, spirit cooking is the name given to an occultist ritual / artistic performance, originally making the headlines from a lady that's, depending upon your perspective, she's either avant-garde or she's totally deranged. Her name is Maria Abramovic, and it's her work that's making the headlines. And what she does is she basically finger paints with body fluids. It shows deep influence from elements of occult rituals. And I want you to know, this is the core of our teaching. This is the core of the wake-up. These rituals have unmistakable connections to the most hallowed central practice, the Roman Catholic Eucharist and the Roman Protestant Communion, and it may well indeed have ties to the most vilest acts imaginable. Pedophilia, blood magic, child sacrifice may well be at its core, and may the gods help our forgetful souls. Spirit cooking today on the Christian Whistleblower with Jeffrey Daugherty. Folks, this is serious stuff, and you don't have to be interested in U.S. politics to have an interest in this subject. Let's take a quick look before the break at Marina Abramovic. Marina Abramovic is 70 years old. She was born in Belgrade, Yugoslavia on November 30th, 1946. The woman's 70 years old. Now, I had to do the math several times. I had to look at several different sources to convince myself that she truly is 70 years old. If you're watching on the YouTube, does that look like a 70-year-old woman to you? That's a 2016 photo of 70-year-old Marina Abramovic. Blows my mind, to be frank with you. And again, I really had to look. And if any of you know what this little emblem she's wearing is, would you please let me know what that emblem is? Please comment on the video, or please contact me on my website. What is this emblem, this piece of jewelry, this accoutrement that Marina Abramovic is wearing? And, you know, how can we not speculate about her youthful appearance and how it relates to the efficacy of her rituals? It would appear on the surface that she may well be reaping a reward from someone, something, somewhere for furthering interest in what can only be called dark occultist rituals and a dark magic. And I don't even want to begin to speculate on the price that Ms. Abramovic may have to pay, but much more on that later. Let's talk about this lady. Her background, it's arguably as interesting as her present. Her great uncle was the renowned Serbian Orthodox Patriarch Varnava, of course, of the Serbian Orthodox Church. And he was a very colorful figure. He actually firmly resisted the introduction of legislation that gave greater privileges to the Roman Catholic Church in Serbia. So he was fighting for the Serbian Orthodox Church, and he did not want the Roman Catholic Church to come in and undermine the positions of the Serbian Orthodox Church and other faiths in his country. And unexpectedly, overnight of July 23rd, 1937, right after his legislation was carried into Parliament, he inexplicably, mysteriously died. And many people believe that Patriarch Varnava was poisoned, and his death, according to Wikipedia, remains unresolved. In 1937, he was killed. In 2016. His death does remain unresolved. Very, very interesting. And in addition to the colorful life of her uncle, her parents were both members of Marshal Tito's famous communist fighters, the Yugoslav partisans, during World War II. And these were people that fought on behalf, quote unquote, of Yugoslavia. Of course, they were communists, so they were what they were. But after the war, when Marshal Tito became the ruler, the unquestioned ruler of Yugoslavia, Abramovic's parents were proclaimed heroes of Yugoslavia and were awarded positions of power in the communist regime of Tito when Tito was proclaimed president for life. So she came from religious hierarchy, she came from political hierarchy, and also, interestingly, while her parents were away, she was raised by her religious grandparents. And Abramovic says that she spent her childhood in a church following her grandmother's rituals. Very, very interesting. Candles in the morning, priests coming for different occasions. Went back to live with her parents. Went to a more classical type of an education. And I have to laugh at this. She claims that she was abused as a child, and one of her most horrible moments of childhood was her father smashing 12 champagne glasses. Well, I just think that a person that never had one champagne glass in their house might wonder how that could be such a horrible moment. She claims this child abuse sounds more to me like something someone's trying to make up to create some sympathy. In fact, it's profoundly Clintonian if you really think about it. But at any rate, the mix of her upbringing is almost as odd as the mix of the substances in her paintings. And we haven't even really got to the strange part first, and we'll get to that later. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up the first segment right now of the Christian Whistleblower, Spirit Cooking, the Eucharist, and the Communion. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Visit my website at jeffreydaugherty.com, christianwhistleblower.com. We do have all of my ebooks on sale right now for $2.50 through Christmas, $2.50. Except for this new book, it is just $5. But that's jeffreydaugherty.com, christianwhistleblower.com. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and we'll be right back in just a moment for segment number 2 of the Christian Whistleblower.